Fly over Death Valley and you'll see giant cones of gravel spilling from the canyon mouths, each one spread across the desert floor like sediment poured from a funnel. Some stand alone, while others have grown together into a single sloping ramp. And geographers use two different names for what you're seeing. The first is the alluvial fan, and the second is the bajada. Students mix them up constantly, since both are built from the same material in the same dry mountain settings. The difference comes down to a simple question of one versus many. Start with the alluvial fan. It's a fan or cone-shaped deposit of gravel, sand, and finer sediment, collectively called alluvium, laid down where a stream rushes out of a steep mountain canyon and suddenly meets the open valley floor. Inside the canyon, the water is confined and fast, so it can carry heavy loads of rock and sand. The moment it exits onto the flat valley, it spreads out and slows down, losing the energy needed to keep that material moving. Everything drops, load after load, flood after flood. Over thousands of years, those deposits stack into a broad cone with its narrow apex pointed at the canyon mouth. Coarse boulders settle near the top, where the water first loses power, while finer sand and silt wash farther down the slope toward the valley. Not every fan is built by ordinary streams. When the deposits come mainly from debris flows, thick slurries of mud and rock, the result is often steeper, and geologists call it a debris cone. Either way, one canyon feeds one fan. That pairing is the defining feature. A mountain front rarely has just one canyon, though. Picture a desert range with a dozen canyons spaced along its base, each one building its own fan out onto the valley floor, every fan slowly growing wider with each flash flood. Eventually, the edges of neighboring fans touch, then overlap, then merge completely. The individual cones lose their separate outlines and blend into one continuous, gently sloping apron of sediment running along the entire mountain front. That merged apron is the bajada. The word comes from Spanish, where bajada means descent or slope, a fitting name for a long ramp of debris easing down from the mountains. Geologists also call it a compound alluvial fan, which captures the relationship neatly. A bajada is simply alluvial fans in the plural, fused together. So the two landforms differ in scale and in number, not in ingredients. An alluvial fan is a single deposit from a single canyon, while a bajada is a collective feature, stitched together from many fans by many streams working side by side over a long stretch of time. You can usually tell them apart from above. A lone fan keeps a clean triangular outline with one apex, whereas a bajada looks like a scalloped ribbon hugging the mountain base, its surface undulating where the old fan boundaries once stood. There's a related trap worth avoiding here: the pediment. From a distance, it mimics a bajada, sloping gently away from the mountains. Yet, a pediment is bare bedrock carved by erosion. Fans and bajadas are the opposite. They're built upward by deposition, sediment piling on top of sediment. That distinction also means the two terms describe stages of one ongoing story rather than separate phenomena. Every bajada began as scattered, isolated fans, and given enough floods and enough time, almost any row of fans along an active mountain front will knit itself into one. Boiled down to a single rule: one canyon, one fan, many fans merged, one bajada. If you can trace the deposit back to a single source, it's an alluvial fan. If it runs along the whole mountain front with multiple sources, you're looking at a bajada. The next time you see a desert mountain range in a film or on a map, look at its base and ask whether the fans are still alone or already joined. You'll be reading a clock made of gravel, one that's been ticking for tens of thousands of years.